What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to the channel. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. So in today's video we are going to be talking about the recent news that has just broke from Craig Hope, and of course the recent news that has just broke as well from Luke Edwards. Now starting off with, of course, the news that has broke from Luke Edwards. In that news is that, of course, Newcastle are in talks with Nottingham Forest about a potential swap deal involving Elanga and Elliot Anderson. But now it's also being said that that deal could, instead of being Elliot Anderson, it could be a swap deal with Yakuba Minteh. Now, looking at it, it does sound like a good deal, the Elliot Anderson and the Elanga swap deal. Add Yakuba Minteh instead of Elliot Anderson, and you're starting to look a little bit crazy here with this deal, because we are being offered 40 million from Olympic Lyon for Yakuba Minteh. That is a really good deal. Yes, Minteh doesn't want to go to the French league. He wants to, try his hand in the Premier League. Fair point. But at the end of the day, you look at this deal here, and Elanga is a really good player. If that was Nottingham Forest adding money plus Elanga to a deal to get Yakuba Minteh, fair enough. Because, then that, of course, clears up our FFP or PSR problem. But I'm sure, Nottingham Forest are also going to want to clear up their PSR problem as well that they've got. So this has got to be a deal, for us Newcastle United fans that makes sense. It's got to be a deal that makes sense, of course, for both parties, I'm sure. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're getting something good out of this deal. Now, Elanga would be a fantastic player. He's very young. He's Swedish international as well. He came from the Man United Youth Academy, and he had some fantastic games for Nottingham Forest last season in the Premier League. He's a fast player as well. We've seen what he did against Dan Burn when we had to take on Nottingham Forest last season as well. So, he is a player that would add something to a team going forward. If it was Elliot Anderson, going to Nottingham Forest for, say, 30 million, which is what's being rumoured, and us then getting Elanga for, say, 30 million, then that obviously helps both teams in the PSR department. It obviously helps us, get pure profit as well for Elliot Anderson, with him being a youngster from our academy. That would immediately clear up our PSR problem, in my opinion. So, of course, that would then possibly allow it to keep a hold of Yakuba Minteh and maybe give him a chance, in the team this season. Or we could go down another avenue and we could, send Yakuba Minteh out on loan to a team in the Premier League, allow him to get some game time, first team minutes under his belt. But then you do bear the risk of, if he doesn't turn out to be as good as he was in the Dutch league, which there could be a possibility of that. We have seen it in the past with other Dutch players, of course. Obviously Man United's Anthony, he came from Ajax and he hasn't quite done what he did at Ajax in the Dutch league. We've seen it with other ones, for ourselves, like Luc de Jong, Sim de Jong had a little bit as well. And there's been other ones, where they just haven't quite hit the ground running like they did in the Dutch league when they get into the Premier League. So we do bear the risk of that if we do, of course, try to keep a hold of Yakuba Minteh and then loan him out to a team in the Premier League, and he doesn't get the time that we expect him to get, or that he expects to get, of course. So there's a lot to talk about, of course, on this one. But only time will tell, what will happen on this deal. But I am quite interested in the Anthony Elanga deal. That is a really good deal for us. I do want to toss a little one into the hat of my own, of course, which I think if we could send Elliot Anderson there for 30 million and Yakuba Minte there to Nottingham Forest, and then we could do a deal with Nottingham Forest to get Elanga and maybe Morgan Gibbs White. That would be a really good deal. That would be a deal that would really be an amazing deal by Newcastle, because we'd be getting a very young, hungry winger in Elanga. Would also be getting a very young, hungry English player as well in Morgan Gibbs White, and somebody that has a massive link and connection with Anthony Gordon. So that would improve Anthony Gordon even more as well. And of course, these two lads that I've mentioned, Gibbs White and Elanga, both got some brilliant minutes in the Premier League last season, both got some brilliant goals and assists in the Premier League last season as well. So that would add to us, going forward in the attack. That would add to us being a more dangerous team in attack as well. And we're already lethal as it is. Look at how many goals were scored last season, So if you add Elanga in Morgan Gibbs White into that, then that's even better. That improves with even more going forward. But I do believe there would have to be some sort of cash deal in there for Yakuba Minte and Elliot Anderson, because we do need to also think about that PSR problem as well, that quite a lot of Premier League teams are having to deal with because of this stupid rule to have FFP PSR in English football. It's just absolutely ruining it and just destroys the game because of greed from a certain section of teams that want to try and keep their stranglehold on the Premier League that they do not have anymore. They don't have that ability to be able to do what they think they can do, and they're holding on with this stupid little rule that's costing a lot of teams some really good players. But if we could do a deal with Nottingham Forest and somehow, get Elanga and Morgan Gibbs White in a deal with Yakuba Minte and Elliot Anderson going in the other direction, that is a fantastic deal. I'd take that deal. But moving away from that, of course, to the other news from Craig Hope, who come out and has said that Newcastle looked at selling Anthony Gordon to Liverpool to help with PSR, but talks broke down. Thank God for that, because no way would Anthony Gordon want to go back to Merseyside. I mean, he's been there, he's done that, he's had to deal with the hatred all them years that he was getting at Everton, the hatred of him being the fall guy for Everton not doing what they wanted to do. And he's come to Newcastle, he's growing as a player, he's got in the England squad, he's showing what he's worth, he's showing his true potential as a player, and he's still got a lot more to give. He's still got a lot more to build upon as well as a player. So I'm not for that deal. I'm really glad to see, that Craig Hope's report said that the deal broke down, because I would not want to see Anthony Gordon going to Liverpool. They just end up, misusing him. He's happy here. He's building himself here, and he's got a lot more to give to Newcastle United. Maybe down the line, we might cash in on him. At the end of the day, the owners have already said, every player's got a price tag as long as it meets their demand for what the player is worth. And just like Bruno, just like, Isak, Anthony Gordon's price tag is pretty high, especially when you consider, that he's on the lips of every single person out there right now talking about Anthony Gordon and what he did for England in only 5 minutes of game time. You can see that's why these clubs like Liverpool have started inquiring about him. Chelsea's inquired about him, Man U. All of these clubs are going to obviously inquire about Anthony Gordon, but it's up to Newcastle, if we want to sell him, and then it's up to Anthony Gordon himself if he wants to make the move. At the end of the day, the player gets the final say on whether he goes or not. That is the modern game. But for me, I'd be happy to see Anthony Gordon stay at Newcastle United. You know, he's a fantastic player, and like I say, he's got a lot to give to the club. So I really hope, you know, nothing else comes of these talks that broke down. You know, and hopefully, you know, it's not anything more to that than what we've just read there, you know, by Craig Hope. But till next time, remember, hit like, share, subscribe to the channel. Of course, England take on Slovakia in our game tomorrow on Sunday. So keep an eye out on the channel for that, because it's going to be a match preview up on the channel for that one to talk about, of course, that game and my thoughts on it. And of course, as always, remember, hit that like, because it massively supports the channel and it is completely free. It takes seconds to do, but it does hugely support the channel and helps the channel to grow moving forward. And also, if you can, hit that subscribe if you haven't done it yet, or if you're new around here, and turn on the bell for all notifications and all that malarkey. And of course, till next time, I'll see you for the next one. Away, lads.